receivers both left and right.
See a little Williams action.
Just
Justin Hirschfeld, lefty, Robert Shaver, and we're off.
Just like they're not stopping. It's all about possession counts. They've got to just force a turnover.
There are a couple of minutes to get back in form when she comes back too.
I don't quite get the Bellingham hitting philosophy right now.
Outside to Kristen. And Millis keeps it alive.
Welcome. Hi, I'm Rich Small, and we're here to do a preview of the upcoming Medfield Girls High School basketball team. I'm joined by Coach Mark Nickerson. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. So let's just start. It's been a few years since you've been coaching the high school team. It's 12, 13, 14 years?
I started in the 2004-2005 season, so it's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, and things are going great. You guys have a great tradition of success. How many years in a row now to make the tournament?
So that actually started before I got there. I think it's about 30 years now. I'm not actually sure of the number, but I know it started with Coach Tom Cowell in the late 80s, so, and we've managed to keep that up since, so we're pretty proud of that. But
So with all the success you've had, what do you attribute the success to?
I mean, it obviously starts with youth basketball. You know, the youth basketball program in Medfield is outstanding. We have a lot of dedicated parents that get involved early and get their kids involved, and you know, we see it all the time coming in after our practices or on the weekends. We see the kids who are involved in our clinics, and there's a lot of parent support out there for basketball, and it's a great thing. You know, and I'm fortunate enough to be the beneficiary of all that hard work, but you know, for the most part, we get girls that come to us in the high school ready to play. Yeah,
interesting. So the other thing I'm interested in, you've seen a lot happen over girls basketball over the last decade, 2 decades. Yeah. What is the biggest thing that you've seen changed in the game?
I mean, I think just from a general standpoint, I think the athletes are better. Mm-hmm. You know, I think they're stronger, they're bigger, they're faster, they're playing more sports. You know, I think I'm fortunate to have a lot of girls that are in Medfield, especially, that are playing multiple sports. They're not just playing basketball all year long. They're playing soccer, they're playing lacrosse, they're playing volleyball, they're playing field hockey. So that they're getting skills that they can carry over from sport to sport, but they're also not getting the tremendous amount of wear and tear on the same muscles from doing the same activities all the time. Yeah. And I think that's important.
So, yeah, it's kind of controversial as far as just an athlete dedicated to one sport versus multiple sports. Yeah. So your philosophy is you encourage the players to participate in other sports?
Yeah, honestly, you know, obviously I want them to put time into basketball, you know, and my philosophy is that the school seasons are for the school teams. When you're in fall sport, you should play a fall sport. You know, in the winter you should play a winter sport, in the spring you should play a spring sport, and then in the summer you'd be a little competitive for who gets your time. Right. You know, I'd love the basketball players to focus on the summer in basketball. Right. You know, so trying to provide them with opportunities through summer league and camps and things like that is important to us.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, but maybe it's a little biased too, because you remember when I was, you know, at least in my generation, right, you define the sports by the season.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, you know, everything had a natural order to it. You put down.
Well, there weren't all these outside opportunities. There weren't club soccer. There was not AAU. There wasn't all that stuff. And I think we went through a period probably in the late 90s and early 2000s where kids got really invested in club sports, you know, in the volleyball, in the soccer, in the AAU basketball, and kind of abandoned a lot of the school sports, and they started to focus in on one sport. I think we're starting to move back in that other direction where, at least in Medfield definitely, and especially with our girls sports, because we've had such success in volleyball, in soccer, in lacrosse, you know, that girls are dedicating themselves to their high school sports and their high school teams because they are so good.
So when you break up for the season, or did you talk to the players about, you know, obviously the returning players of kind of laying out a roadmap of what to work on or what to do for the upcoming season? I
mean, I usually just throw out kind of a general, if you come back the same player that you are right now, that's not a good thing for us. And you know, I always talk to the captains, and we try to come up with some opportunities for things that we can do in the off season, mostly focused around the summer. Inevitably ends up being summer league. Year in, year out, we kind of talk about doing team camps. You know, and there's some good local camps the struggle for that is it's hard with everybody's vacation times and things that are going on. It's hard to get those together.
Yeah.
I still would love to do that, but up to this point, we haven't been too successful with that.
So what thing would you, talking about just coaching philosophy, can you think of something that you've changed over the years as far as just yourself, the way that you coach, or either the game or in-game or just practice, or?
You know, some of the things have remained somewhat similar. I think in terms of what we run, I think that's changed. That changes every year. You know, we have some staples, at least over the last few years. You know, our half-court trap has kind of been a staple, but we've mixed and match offenses. We've mixed and matched a little bit defensively. I think my philosophy on man-to-man defense, for example, has changed pretty dramatically over the last few years. You know, in terms of my philosophy on players and games, I mean, for better or for worse, I've always tried to coach to win. And I know that can be somewhat controversial because in close games it means that not as many kids are playing. Right. And, you know, my goal is certainly to have kids enjoy the sport as well, but I do feel pressure as a coach, especially of a varsity team that has high expectations on it, to win.
Oh, interesting. I do think, just kind of, because I've watched this for a long time, I do think actually, I'll answer the question for you. I actually think your in-game coaching has improved dramatically. And I think that, to me, that's just an awareness of just, it's experience and seeing what you have. And, you know, I think you're, you know, what my memory remembers, just kind of the changes you make during the game itself and the flow of the game. I think you've really notched that up quite a bit over the years.
I appreciate that. Hopefully I'm improving with time. You know, as hard as the girls work, I feel like I work really hard at coaching, but you might be giving me a little bit too much credit because it's kind of easy to make in-game adjustments when you have great players. Well, you know, and I've been very fortunate to have outstanding players. So
that could be, but you have to do it collectively together. Let's drill down a little on this year's team. So you have a lot of returning players, a lot of talent on the team.
Yep.
What goals have you set for the team coming into the season? I mean, besides I want to win it all, which is great.
Our goals for the last few years have been pretty much the same thing. We want to win the league and we want to win the state championship. And you know, there's varying degrees of reality from year to year. I mean, the league for us, we've won it 7 of the last 8 years. Unfortunately, last year was the first time we haven't won in a while. So that's really important to me this year. And I think it's important to the girls, where in past years, after winning 5 or 6 times in a row, I would have said, you know what, I don't care if we win the league, I just want to win a state championship. I want to take that league title back, and I think the girls do too. You know, I think we've got a team that's capable of winning a state championship, so that's important to me as well. It's not going to be easy. We got a lot of tough teams that we're going to run up against. We got a lot of work to do as a team. But we definitely have, you know, a good group of girls that have played together for a long time, that know where each other are on the court and play very, very well together. So from what I've seen early on in the season, I'm really enthusiastic. And I'm usually a guy who will temper that enthusiasm. You know, I don't want anybody thinking that we're going to be too good, because if we fall short of that, I don't want people pointing the finger at me. But I've been pretty open with the girls this year and telling them how good I think we can be. And I think most of that's because of the level of maturity that we have on this team. I think they can handle it.
Well, I think in some respects, the last couple of years have actually been very good jobs, because you came in, you had a great run of 6, 7, 8 years where you just dominated the league. You lost a lot of those players. You came in now a couple of years ago with basically a whole new staff. And you didn't really miss a beat, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, you know what, that might be my proudest season, 2014. Actually 2014, 2015. We had graduated a great senior class. We had one senior on the team who was outstanding, Peyton we met. We had pretty much a whole new group of starters, you know, some that had been on the team last year, but a whole new group of starters. And we had a lot of questions about how good we thought we were going to be, and a lot of questions from outside and a lot of questions inside too. And we ended up going to the state championship game and losing, unfortunately, to Duxbury. But I think for the first time in a long time, we had exceeded people's expectations of what we were doing, rather than either meeting them or falling short.
And that was the year you beat was it Notre Dame in the sectional finals?
We beat Neshoba.
Neshoba,
who had knocked us out the year before,
right.
and that was our best game of the year by far.
Yeah.
I mean, we just dismantled them.
Right.
They were.
That was very impressive. So I see we have the captains off stage
Yes.
here. We're going to bring them on in a few minutes, but if they close their ears, just tell me about the captains and the players, and who do you have a lot of talent on your team.
We do. So we're returning our starting 5 from last year, which anytime you can do that, that's a great thing, especially when you've been good. But you know, they're an incredibly talented group of kids. I shouldn't say kids; they're not kids.
Yeah.
Of athletes, but beyond that, they're so much fun to work with. You know, and there's always a little bit of anxiety going into the season because you know how much work's ahead of you, and you're worried about the success rate, and you know if we can, you know, meet people's expectations and hopefully meet our own expectations. But I enjoy so much the time that we spend at practice. I really enjoy the practices probably more than the games because there's less pressure. The girls work tremendously hard. They see the value, I think, in practice time. They have a strong desire to get better and be as good as they possibly can be. It's an incredibly competitive group. And I feel incredibly fortunate to be able to coach these players and this team. And I feel incredibly fortunate to be able to have been part of this program for so long.
Great. So the TVL this year, who are the teams that you think are going to be competitive?
Yeah, Medfield.
Yeah.
I think Medfield's going to be really good. But Hopkinton, for a lot of reasons, is our most important games this year. You know, they're going to be competitive for the league title. They're very talented. They're returning most of their team. They had a very strong ending to last season. They are also a Division II Central team, same as us. So they can stand in our way of the league title. They can stand in our way of the state title. And you know, we need to make sure that we're prepared for them. We have them very early on too. We play them next Tuesday. So.
Okay. Yeah, and Hopkinton traditionally always has a very strong program.
Yes. Yeah.
Is there anybody else? Let me ask you this question. When you take a look at other programs, are there some programs that stand out to you to say, you know, I'd like to emulate that, or you're saying, no, Medfield is the place?
Yeah, you know, it used to be Westwood. Obviously, when I first started, they were the hallmark. They were the team that you wanted to be like. They had won the league, so many years in a row. You walk into their gym, they have that banner of undefeated TVL seasons. You look at it and go, wow, I wish that could be us someday, you know? And then it became us, you know? Like I said, we won it 7 years in a row. We went 4 years straight without losing a league game. Right now, I still think it's us. You know, Westwood won the league last year, and they're a great program again, and they've got very talented players. But until somebody wins it a few years in a row, I think we're still the best program in the league.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. Just a last question, just as far as always interested in this, your assistant coaches.
Yeah.
How much do you rely on them?
A lot. You know, Ellen Gelinas, who's been my assistant for years, actually played under me when I coached at Dover. She brought me to a state championship game when we were at Dover. We lost. But just a great player, very well respected by the players, an outstanding coach. She really understands the game. She keeps me grounded. You know, she'll calm me down when I need to be calmed down. She definitely sees things out there that I don't see, and maybe a lot of my growth as a coach that you've seen over the last few years might be as a result of her. So we're very fortunate to have her. I know the girls care about her greatly, and she cares about them, and she's completely invested in the program. And then obviously Paul Catino, who's been the JV coach for a long time and a big help. You know, we really value what he brings to the program. And then Mary Lofna, who's new last year, is going to coach freshmen again this year. Again, somebody who's totally invested herself in the program, has been outstanding. She was a player at Westwood, so we stole one away from her. We have a Westwood and a Dover Sherburne assistant coach, so we got the best of all worlds in Medfield, so it's been great.
Just one thing, I'm just also curious. I noticed your schedule this year is a little different. You're playing a couple of teams that you have not played typically in the past. I know you have Lincoln Sudbury and you have Barnstable too. What is the philosophy of just when you try to do your out-of-league schedule?
I want to play the best teams we possibly can. You know, I'm not worried about making the tournament. And that might be a little bit naive. You know, you never know what can happen. But I'd rather squeak into the tournament at 10-10 and 9, or 11-9 and lose to good teams to get you prepared to play good teams in the tournament than have easy games and go in at 20-0 and then play somebody really tough, and it's a wake-up call, but it's too late.
Well, how many years have we seen a 5th or 6th seed come in with 5 or 6 losses and just wipe out the top seed?
Right.
It happens all
the time
because of the schedule.
It happened to Westwood last year. You know, they went into the tournament as the #1 seed. They got knocked out by, I think Hingham was a 7 or 8 seed.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one of the best things I think we've done is we've opted out of some of our Tri-Valley games to pick up some extra non-league games, and we filled that with really good opponents. And when we won the state championship, that was the first year we really did that. And to this day, I'll say that that's why we won.
Yeah, I think that's a great philosophy, and I totally buy into that because of just the competition part of it. You need to test the team out during the season.
Absolutely. The girls aren't too happy about traveling to Barnstable, but we'll try to make it a good trip.
Anyways, well, thank you, Coach Nickerson, for spending some time here. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to be back with the captains of the team. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back to the preview show of the upcoming Medfield girls basketball team. I'm with the captains of the team. We have Meg Zona, Maggie McCarthy, and Lauren Casieri. Did I get it right?
Yeah. You did.
All right, I get my job. So welcome and thanks for coming. So let's just start off. We'll just go down the line here. So Meg, just tell me how many years you've been playing basketball. Just give me a little idea of your basketball career.
Sure. I've been playing basketball since 3rd grade, I'm pretty sure, in Medfield, and also club 6th through 8th grade. And then my freshman year, I tried out for Medfield High School basketball and made the JV2 team. And then mid-season, my freshman year, I moved up to JV, and then by the end of the season, I was on Varsity, and I've been on ever since.
Okay, and position?
Shooting guard and point guard.
Shooting guard, point guard. Okay, great. Maggie. Take me through your basketball career.
Yeah, so I started the first year I could have started. I don't even know when that was, 1st grade or so. And then I played all through middle school, or elementary school, middle school. And then I tried out freshman year, made varsity, and I play point guard and shooting guard sometimes too.
Great, great. And Lauren, returning captain. So
I started as, I don't know what year, but just like Maggie, as soon as I could, basically. And then I played AAU 6th through this past fall, and then I made varsity as a freshman, and have been on it ever since.
So one of the things in the previous segment that Coach Nickerson was talking about was the in-town program. So you all came up to the in-town program, and what were your experiences with it? Why don't you tell me, Meg?
Sure. Definitely playing in town with all of our friends and of different ages has been a great experience. We form relationships through that, but also a little bit of competitiveness and what you're up against, and it sort of made the culture of wanting to be better as a group instead of individually.
And Maggie?
Yeah, and I think playing when we were younger, forming those relationships makes your love for the game grow. And also, Coach Nickerson was really involved with the younger kids. He runs clinics, and he kind of brought you into the program right from the start. So you felt like you knew the older girls, you looked up to them, and then once it was your chance, you couldn't wait to try out and play for him.
So that was actually a question I was going to ask Lauren. So I think this is really important. What do you guys do to reach out to the younger kids? Because at the end of the day, when you think about it, and what the coach was talking about, basically the youth system is feeding all the players to the high school. The love of the game, they want to play for the high school. And you guys are really important because they're looking up to you, all the younger kids. So what do you do, Lauren, to help that along?
I definitely think doing all the clinics that we do is a huge part of why they want to be, why they look forward to playing in high school so much. We do clinics in the summer and before our games, and then they'll stay for our summer league games, and then we do clinics all through the winter on Saturdays, and we really get involved with the teams. We each have our own team. Like we'll have like a group of 3 of us players that has our own team, and we coach that team, and like just getting them involved and like having them see what we do at practice and stuff like that is just like they really like doing.
So when you do the clinics, is it all age groups, or do you specifically do different age groups at different times?
It kind of changes year to year. My freshman and sophomore year, we did 6th through 8th, and then last year I think we did like third grade.
We did like a wide range. We did first to I think 6th,
Right.
and we kind of split them up.
That's great.
Or maybe not first.
Yeah, I think
Older
it was
than
first,
along
maybe
the lines of
13.
that.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's very important because,
Yeah.
you know, you guys just are going to bring the next group along. So just think of it that way, that, you know,
Right.
it's part of your responsibility too to kind of shepherd that next group coming up. Just quick, Meg, what other sports do you play?
This is the only sport I play. So
You did, the coach was just saying that he
no,
wanted
I'm one of the only ones.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, my freshman year I played volleyball, and then I also ran track sophomore and freshman year, and had a few injuries from
Okay.
that. So I just decided
I will
to
slow you
focus
down.
from here. Right, exactly.
Yeah. How about you,
Basketball was
Maggie?
our favorite. So just
Yeah.
Basketball is my favorite.
How about you,
absolutely.
Maggie?
I play soccer in the fall, and then basketball, and then lacrosse in the spring.
Okay, so you figure out a sport for every season.
Yeah.
How about you, Lauren?
It's the same with me, soccer in the fall and lacrosse in the spring.
And what's your favorite sport? You don't have to say basketball, just
Yeah.
say. Doesn't matter to me.
Mine's basketball.
Yeah,
Mine-
well, what's yours, Maggie?
Well, I think basketball by a little bit because I like each sport. And
You like all of
season.
them?
Yeah, I like all of them a lot.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I feel like it's usually like the sport that I'm in, that season that I'm in right now.
That's a
so.
good way. That's good. That's a good way to look at it. Because I think that's very healthy to play different things. Let's just talk about. You heard the coach's goals, so I'm sure your goals are similar. But tell me what your goals, Lauren. Let's start off. So as a captain, what have you told the team about what the team and personal goals are this year?
I think for me, and basically for the whole team, our goals are like to take basically every game by game, and like we just have to move up, like focus on that one game ahead of us. But in the long run, it's to win TVLs and to win the state.
Okay. Is there anything else, Maggie, that you can think of?
I think even though we do have a older, experienced team with like the starting 5 coming back again, I think we also have a lot of young players that we need to like bring into the program and give them the experience they need to continue the program after our 5 seniors leave. I think
Okay.
it's 5.
So Meg, tell me how you do that.
How we bring them in?
Yeah,
Of all
how do you
ages.
bring them in?
So sometimes we will practice with them and have them share the gym time with us, but also we will do a lot of things outside of basketball itself, which really like brings everyone together and feel like one team instead of 3 separate ones.
So what do we do?
So, well,
You have to tell me any secrets, but what do we do?
before every game we'll have team dinner,
Okay.
so sometimes we'll invite them to them. When we go out after games, we'll invite them too.
How many girls are in the program now? High school program. Do you know?
35. around
So,
there.
so a couple of years ago, we didn't have a freshman team?
Yes.
Was that right? So 35, we're fielding 3 teams this year?
Yes.
So that's good. So that's real good. Maggie, who's your biggest rivalry in basketball?
Biggest rivalry? Well, last year I think Westwood definitely was. Those are the games we got the most excited for, pumped up for. I think this year, as Nickerson said, I think Hopkinton will be a big challenge for us, but I think we're ready for it.
Yeah. And how do you feel, Lauren, about playing some of these teams that you haven't faced before? Is that exciting, or you get that nervous, or it doesn't matter?
I definitely think, me personally, I get nervous, but I think it just helps the team in general to get that much more excited for that game. We're that much more pumped up. Like, we're thinking about it for like weeks ahead. So I think we're definitely going to be ready.
So Friday night, Lincoln Sudbury, who's a team we don't play very often. So, Meg, what's the scouting report on them?
Well, they're definitely a team that has challenges in the past. We don't know that much about them this year, which also helps us for playoffs. Going into a game not knowing that much about your opponent is always a little bit difficult, but it helps you in the long run, and I think it will be definitely challenging.
Yeah, it'll be good. They're tall.
Exactly.
So that's all you need to know.
Right, exactly.
Which is always good when you're playing basketball.
Right.
To be tall. But as far as let me ask you a little different question. So let me see. Lauren, you're a senior.
Yes.
Maggie, you're a junior.
Yeah.
And
Senior.
Maggie, you're a senior. Okay. So as far as I talked a little about the coach about this, playing in the Boston Garden. How did anybody get a chance to play in the Boston Garden? I forget what year that was.
We
all missed it?
missed it by a year.
So how much of that is a disappointment?
I definitely think it would have been like an amazing experience to play at the Garden, but going back, I wouldn't like go back and change anything. Like my experiences with this program have been like amazing. So.
Right.
Okay. And Maggie, what's your biggest achievement for Medfield High School that you're most proud of?
I think making it to states freshman year, because I think we all didn't know how good we were going to be. We had like questions, and proving everybody wrong and making it to that last game. It obviously wasn't the outcome we wished for, but just the experience of making it that far and proving people wrong was really special to me.
Well, and you heard the coach say that's probably his proudest coaching moment. And I agree, because I remember talking to him at the beginning of the season. He said, I have no idea what to expect. None. It was basically a brand new team, as he said, except for one very good player, but just one player, and really untested. It was a fabulous year. So Meg, what's a highlight that stands out for you?
Out of all my career?
Sure, your vast career.
Definitely beating Neshoba our sophomore year. I think we went in a little bit nervous, and knowing that they basically stopped it for us in the past, I think winning that game and then making it to the last game we could have possibly played was the best. And also the team that year was really close, and that was a really positive experience for all of us.
And particularly Neshoba upset us the year before.
Right.
Very close game. It was a point to two in the sectional finals, I believe. And they came in undefeated, I believe.
I think so.
And you guys just really did a number on them. So it was a good payback.
Yeah.
How about you, Lauren? What's the thing in your mind that stands out?
I think definitely those two, and also just making it freshman year and being able, like, looking up to the varsity basketball team was like something that I've been looking up to for as long as I can remember. So being able to be on that team and like play with amazing players, I think really was an amazing experience.
Okay. So just a couple more questions. So what I'm always curious, so we talked about this a little, about how to get the other players to come along, but how do you make, so you're a captain now, if you see a player not really producing the way you think they should be producing, what do you do?
Well, that's definitely happened to probably all of us. We've seen everyone has their moments, but I think that we all share the relationship with the people because we know them pretty well, that we can go up to them and give them positive criticism, but also tell them when they're doing well. So it's the culture Nickerson and our other coaches have established for us, and I think that is what makes us better, that we can have those relationships with them.
So who's the most vocal person out of the three here?
Probably Meg, maybe.
No,
Who is it? Meg?
Yeah, maybe Meg.
No, I think
You need somebody who does it.
We're all different, I
Right,
think.
exactly.
Yeah. So what do you do, Lauren, to help somebody out?
Yeah, I think confrontation is probably the best thing. Like, and definitely, like, you find a point where like they're not frustrated, and you're not frustrated yourself, and you can like calm down and like tell them kind of what you think they could do in order to play better.
Okay. All right, just one final thing. Let's just wrap this up. So Maggie, I know you're a junior. Have you started thinking about college yet, and just do you want to play ball in college, or?
Yeah, I think I want to play basketball in college.
Yeah. College, okay. Yeah. Okay, and started, but still a little early. So you
still. It's still early in the process, but I think I'm looking to do that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. How about you, Meg?
Probably not, but definitely keep it a part of my life because it's been a part of it for so long and I love it so much. That's definitely where I've had some of the best relationships. So I think I'll play, but not at the college level.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking going through that, isn't it? This
Right.
whole college thing?
Right.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking. How about you, Lauren?
We'll see. I'm just gonna see like where I get in and then kind of go from there. But definitely, if not on a varsity team, on like a club team
Yeah.
or like an intramural team.
Which actually a lot of the kids do, and
Right.
I will tell you from seeing it firsthand, there's pros and cons about playing athletics in college. Just because it's a lot, it's just a lot of work. So and things happen. A lot of kids play club, so that's actually a good alternative too, a good balance. So, anyways, hopefully. I won't do it to you guys. Usually I ask you guys what your record's going to be, but I already know you guys are going to have an outstanding year. And I do agree. I think you are going to go to the finals this year. I think you have the team to do it, and expect great success. We will be out in the court doing a few of your games. Actually, we'll be there Friday night, so we're looking forward to it. So as well, thank you for coming. And it wasn't too nerve-wracking, was it?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining in and listening to the preview of the upcoming Medfield Girls High School basketball team. Thank you. Double receivers both left and right.
See a little Williams action.
Over to Medfield.